Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very pleased to have Gerardo Segat as my guest. And let me tell you about Gerardo. He connects the leader being to the human being and its humanity. And he brings the three essential leadership components, excellence, authenticity, and purpose, into your life as a leader, in yourself, your family, and your business. After several experiences as an entrepreneur, chairman, director, and CEO, Gerardo is now an international leadership coach. He created Preludes, a collection of coaching experiences for leaders, their families, and businesses to impact their personal and professional lives meaningfully, decisively, and insightfully. He also created Be Extraordinary Individuals, an original format of speech, debate, an original format of public debate for decision makers, and Leader in the Mirror, an original format of interview of leaders collaborating with various international players in the education, media, events, and entertainment industries. He is an author and speaker and has created training programs, services, and events. And since 2013, he has been a member of YPO, Young Presidents Organization, the world's leading community of leaders and CEOs, and is currently the chair of the Gold Italy chapter, founder and chair of the Southern Switzerland chapter, and founder and mentoring officer of the North Star Global International chapter. Today, I thought we would have a conversation about personal transformation and improvement. Please join me in welcoming my guest, Gerardo Segat. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Vicki. Thank you for having me as a guest. Hi, everyone.
So we always start with an easy question. Where do you live? Where do you call home?
I'm based in Lugano, which is in the southern part of Switzerland, very close to the Italian border.
Ah, so that's the, what kind of weather do you have in that part of Switzerland? Is it warmer than, or is it mountainous?
No, I mean, it's, mountains are quite close. I mean, 1 hour drive. It's like Italian weather.
So good.
so good, yeah. And Italian food.
So even better. Yes, even better. I love Italian food. So share with our audience your story of your journey that took you to where you are today. I read your bio, but it's, I'd love you to share a little more.
Yeah, I think, I think as everyone, the kind of education and youth age has had an impact, at least at the start of my professional journey. I've had a kind of a difficult youth because I lost my father when I was 6, my mom when I was 15. And so I grew up with my brother, who is 2 years older, and my sister 4 years younger. Lots of difficulties, and I was kind of working, let's say. I was working for a club. I was organizing parties in a club to pay for my education, to go to university, etc. So this somehow is built in my mind that the objective for me was to be a successful entrepreneur. By the way, my father was an entrepreneur, so I kind of have it in my veins. So, and because I grew up, and because education, and because the word teach you to have as objectives outcomes more than inner objectives, if you want. So for me, successful meant money, a lot of people, setting up a business, lots of offices, and all of that. Okay, so the first part of my career was in that direction. At the end of my university, I went to Paris to study. I did a year in Paris in one of the two main business schools. And there I kind of fall in love with international tax planning. Oh. The creative side, there's a little bit of creativity. I'm kind of creative. So, so I chose that, and I moved to London, and I started working for a couple of the big international tax law firms there. And then I kind of had this entrepreneurial blood. And so at 29, I started my own business in a small service office in New Oxford Street in London with a secretary, myself and a secretary. It was in the year 2000. Luckily, this business grew up, and with the years became a 400 people operation with 10 offices around the world and clients all over the world. And I brought in some partners, et cetera, and became a multi-family office with all different kinds of services, not only international tax, asset management, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so I was lucky enough, one of those lucky people who say, okay, this is my goal, and I reached that goal. Okay. Yeah. So once I get there, I say, okay, what's next? No? Well, I said two things. One is I've done what I had to do. So what am I doing here? Yeah. Okay. And therefore I actually took the decision to exit the business. No? And that was 2016. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I exited the business, and at the beginning I didn't, without a clear idea. I said, I'm going to have to exit this thing. It's too much, I am at the top. And so I, kind of jumped without
into the water.
Yeah, exactly. But I had in mind that somehow I had to free myself. I wanted nothing in front of me. Okay, so I said, first, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to have an empty site, and I'm going to look whatever is the right thing for me. And then I coincidences, which then when it is the right way are not coincidences, but they are meant to be. I started talking with people about coaching, etc. I liked it. And I went back to school, so I requalified for a year. I went to do one of the ICF approved courses, coaching trainings, and I did some mentoring with some coaches around, internationally, and then I started my new career as a leadership coach. But I say, okay, leadership coach, but what for? Okay, yes, it's nice to have an impact on people, but I needed something higher than that. Yeah. Okay, so I chose, and something materialized in front of me. It's a little bit of all these three things. The purpose, the higher purpose of humanizing leadership. So humanizing leaders and humanizing organization. And therefore I started creating, then there was an explosion of creativity, and I started creating a corporate coaching program, as you said. I started creating a format of interview, a format of decisional debate. I started creating a performing arts show, which is my latest creation. Out as Humans is a performing arts show that I'm bringing to organization, association, companies, etc. And here I am.
Here you are.
Yes, here I am. One thing maybe I wished, one thing that I kind of learned and I wished I'd done before is, well, there's not only one, there's more than one, but to find my way, to find my why, if you want, as soon as possible, and to set inner objectives instead of outcomes. Okay, like money or etc. These are outcomes, not inner. But the system, the world tells you to do it, teaches you to do it. If you think about school or education, we are raised by outcome objectives,
But you do have to work on the inner.
Yes. So now I completely changed. So now my objectives, by the way, I kind of found out that, outcomes are reachable, so they can end. Inner, they're not reachable, they are continuous.
Yeah. That is right.
They're always there and always room to improve, So now, my objectives, whilst I'm doing this, but in my personal and professional life, especially as a leader, is, are, what I call the 4 inner treasures of a leader, which are meaning, love, freedom, and certainty. So
nice.
To reach those 4 and, reach, I mean, as I said, is a continuous improvement, but.
Yeah. Just as you were talking about that, it kind of strangely, but anyway, today I was watering my African violet, and I don't know if the audience knows anything about African violets, but this time of year, they grow quite a lot. And my Christmas cactus too. So with those, you have the flowers that come out, and as you continue to maintain them and tend to them and nurture them, every year there are new flowers that will come out with just because of that. And to me, that's what personal development is like. Every year you have new growth. Every year you have new opportunities, but you have to do that self-care. You have to do that maintenance. You have to give them that love to make them blossom. So that's, to me, what you just said made me think of.
Yeah.
All right. The question I have for you is, I mentioned early in the bio about preludes. So share with the audience preludes. What exactly are they in terms of your coaching method?
Well, preludes uses coaches as a methodology, as a tool, but normally it is associated with an idea which, with experience, I found particularly effective, to create change. So this might mean, as I said, I created this format of corporate debate. And I bring debate into decision-making of companies, okay? So it is this idea of a debate associated with myself moderating it in a coaching style, so using coaching, okay? But there's always a powerful idea, associated with the coaching. So, I do, for example, corporate mottos. I do a speech about vulnerability to board of directors. I do, very specific things with specific objectives. The main differences is that somehow, in the coaching, the client decides objective, and my role is to actually help them reaching those objectives. With Preludes, there is a number of like 10, 15 different experiences. All those have preset objectives, if you want. And therefore, the client simply agrees to those preset objectives, and then moves forward.
Yeah. So since you brought that up, you have these experiences in your collection. So as I was looking through the website, I saw all of these. So share with a couple of the experiences categories. I thought some of them were quite interesting.
Well, okay, I say one is a format of team meeting, which is done, regularly, like once a month, maximum once every 2 months. And, so the team is with the meeting is in a team of 6, 7, 8, 9 people. And it is a kind of meeting where people share updates, okay? Share updates about some of the key areas identified by the company. So this might mean, myself, my work, my team, my company, So 4 or 5 key areas. And those updates are done emphasizing emotions. So they are emotional updates instead of factual. Okay, or actually both. So this would normally be, okay, I feel this, this way, and that's because of that specific fact. And so all these people are, do the same thing, do the updates with each other, and then the group decides every time a critical issue that they want to discuss more in depth. And this is discussed then in the second part of the meeting. The effect of this is really to make people talk emotions, okay, and therefore become more authentic and boost cohesion, boost psychological safety in the company. Sense of belonging, trust, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, and it really does create more of a community within that, and a building of relationships. When you just give facts, it's really difficult to bring that emotion into it. So I love that you have the feeling piece of it, the empathy and whatnot. So often businesses keep that out. I don't care how you feel. You just tell me what the facts are. And I love that you add that piece.
Yeah. And the second example I can give you is it doesn't touch the employee, it touches the clients. So it is creating together a model of interaction with the client, starting from a base model I developed, and then personalizing it with the company, and then looking at what skills are needed with what people, and then carry on with the training of the necessary people on the necessary skills, and then implement this model of interaction. It seems model of interaction a big word. The reality is every moment of interaction with the client is divided in 2 phases, okay, from the beginning to the end. And so this is the model. The base model is into 7 phases from beginning of the meeting to the end of the meeting. Then it gets personalized with the company, with the management of the company. And then once the final model is decided, then we're going to looking at the people and the skills needed and do the training and then implement the model. The reason why this exists is because I believe there are many businesses that have an incredibly important human component. I mean, all businesses have.
Right.
But there are some which are, if you think about insurance business, okay, insurance, you're talking about one of the, businesses where they touch critical events, life, death,
marriage,
the
children.
house. They touch, very important assets and aspect of a person. And notwithstanding that, often people who you meeting from the insurance company, are not able to get into that space to be able to talk about that. Okay. So that's an example. It's not only insurance. There are different kinds of business, but it is to bring emotions, bring authenticity also in the relationship with the client.
Yeah. If you even think about it, you're buying a car. For that person that's trying to sell you that car, the more they know about you and your needs and your life and how that car is more than just getting you from A to B and all that, it makes the sale almost be a no-brainer that this is the right car for me. So I could see how you could use that in any industry.
It's funny enough. You mentioned this example. 5 years ago, I wanted to change my car, and I went to buy. And my dad, I remember this. My dad used to own Alfa Romeo.
Oh yeah, I know that car.
Okay, so was a big fan of Alfa Romeo. I never owned an Alfa Romeo till 5 years ago. And I said, okay, now it is really the time to buy an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
But there was a reason. Okay. And a reason that was very close to my heart. Okay. The guy in the car dealer was, one of the incredible example was very good, because he was able to get into that space.
Yeah.
Okay. And now I have this car, and I don't know when I'm going to change it.
Yeah.
It is linked to my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? But, you have done an example, but, I had this
I just know people in cars, if you want to be a good salesperson and you're selling cars, you got to hit for the heart. So what are the three perpetual pulling forces, and how can they take one from being ordinary to extraordinary?
Excellence, authenticity, and purpose are somehow at different level of, what technically is called logical level of a person. So excellence touches, what and how. Okay, so what you do and the capabilities. Okay, authenticity touches your value and your identity, and purpose goes beyond that, even beyond that space. So the outside world, the rest of the people. Okay, and so those are the three components of a leader, and this is the way the Preludes was created. Preludes was created around those three to boost those, and it touches the three different components in different ways. Excellence is the most common one. Is the most probably seen. Is also what people tend to look.
I was just going to say that.
And so obviously there are many ways, from training courses. It is what often people focus on.
Okay? Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, the more we go higher, and the harder it is, if you want. So authenticity already is something that is, people think it is hard to, easier to say than to do. No?
Yeah.
The reality is one thing, I have experienced board meetings or virtual events where any people coming from different places, whatever kind of meeting, virtual, in person, it doesn't matter, okay, are able, capable, and not only able and capable, but actually are looking for spaces where they can be who they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the key in relation to your authenticity is to create that space. You know, if I go to boards, I've been in boards of banks to do my speech, one of the experiences of Prelude, okay, the speech of vulnerability. I get in, people get in the room, don't even say hello. Yeah. They don't even come to say hi, I am okay. And after 1 hour, they cry, hug each other. They come to me, the CEO sends me a message the day after saying we're going to change things in the bank. Okay, this is their reality. Okay, so people tend to think it's difficult, but that's because it's easier, you know. Just remember, you know, we have a mind, we are not our mind. Okay, so our mind, which is tends to protect ourselves, sends these thoughts. Okay, being authentic is difficult. I can't do this, and it's the reality is when there is safe, the mind just sits, relax, doesn't talk, doesn't throw these thoughts, and the magic happens. Yeah. And so the way to create that safe space is by leading by example. And that's why it is on the leader. You know, if the leader is authentic, is open, then all the rest of the people will follow and will, you know, open up, et cetera, et cetera. The last one is purpose. Purpose, I believe you actually need to have worked out the authenticity element. And therefore, you know, be clear about yourself, build the self-awareness, which I believe is the leadership skill of the future. With AI coming, self-awareness is, or actually awareness, I would say, not only self, is the leadership skill of the future that will make a difference. But once you build that, then you're actually able to look outside and therefore, you know, find what is your way that has an individual, a personal element of satisfaction, of success, inner success. And together with this has also an impact on the world, you know, on the other people, on your other stakeholder, the world, etc.
It's so funny. What you are describing is what I teach too, but I teach leading with the heart, the head, and the hands. So it is that metamorphosis of once you bring in the authenticity and allow vulnerability and empathy, then it's easier to be able to explain the vision and the mission and tying what people do to all of those things. And once you have all that, then you can easily see how you can be of service to others. So I just love what you're doing. All right. So why is it important for leaders to have an altruistic purpose?
I'm not sure why it is important. You know, I think
why do you promote that, I guess, maybe?
I think that once, you know, from one point of view, it is a part of a path, no, of your evolution, okay? And many leaders somehow moving to impact, let's put it this way, impact on the outside world after a few years in their career, no, where they maybe put themselves, the self in front of, you know, their choices, of their actions, etc. But then at some point, there's a turning point that somehow they add impact into what they do. I think it is very nice, and so it is an evolution. There isn't really a reason why it is important. It is important because it's good that you do something that makes you happy and makes other people happy.
Yeah.
It is much better than doing something that makes you happy, or that makes you and your family happy, or you and your, employees happy. Okay. Now I'm going to take this example. Now I created this performing arts show, Out as Humans, that somehow combines the powerful questions of a coach, intimate, with performing arts. Okay. And I've created this and, just finished this, and now I'm starting to feature this to corporates, organization, association. Okay. I worked towards that, but if I sit today, and we're sitting, me and you, having a conversation, and I have something in my hand that I want to take to world leaders conventions like World Economic Forum, G20, G8, whatever convention, okay, to go and feature that show there, so that people, when the day after they talk to each other to take major decisions about the world, might be affected about the experience they've had the evening before, and might interact in a different way, and therefore might take different decisions. Today, I sit in front of you with this in my hand, with this possibility in my hand, and what do I feel? I feel an incredible amount of energy. I feel energized. I feel, I feel excited. I feel all these things, so adding the element of impacting the outside world really brings whatever there is positive and can be positive in you up to the maximum.
Wow.
It's an amplifier of excitement, of positivity, of energy, of all these things.
And what a legacy you could leave. Yeah. The time has flown by. I can't believe it's already time for us to just do one last question. You talked about what's next for you. What if you could do that meeting tomorrow, if you could get on those conferences, those impactful things, what would the result that you would hope to be? I mean, besides your personal growth and satisfaction, though, how do you want what you've created to be able to help the world?
I've created, this show, yes, to go into organizations, etc. But, if I'm thinking about those conventions, the reason why I created that is not necessarily to change the leaders of the world. Okay. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. It's not I didn't create that for that reason. I created that because in those meetings, people sit and discuss and take decisions. Okay. And so, if they live a very strong, touching experience that really connects the leader being with a human being, it is very probable that the day after having coffee and a croissant and whatever, an omelette, and they go into this meeting, it is very probable that, they interact in a different way. They listen more, with more empathy, we're trying to compromise, not necessarily judging, not shouting, not delaying, not, with less harmful defensive behaviors that people have, also the people at the top, because it's the same thing, from a loud discussion in the office to pushing a button to launch a missile. It's the same thing. It's a defensive behavior from fear. Okay. So those defensive behavior, I'm judging, I'm aggressive, I am shouting, I am, delaying, I'm postponing, I'm ignoring, I'm blaming, all of that. Okay. So my wish is that show would create less need for these people to feel those less fear, and therefore less of those harmful defensive behavior, and more empathy, openness, trust, we are here all together, sense of belonging to the world, sense of belonging to the world, because there is only one,
Yeah, we only have one world. And is this, when you say it's a performance, is it a one-man performance, or do you have several people that are involved in this? What does it look like?
I entered the world of theater. I knew nothing about, nothing. So I've put together a group of about 20 people,
Nice.
like scriptwriter, actors, dancers, singer,
Nice.
light, scenography. It's a show. It's like a show.
Oh, how cool!
And we bring this. It's either in a theater, or it is even at the corporate offices, in a room. So we've created a scenography in a way that this can be adaptable. There's poetry, there's music, there is acting, there is singing, there is scenography. Myself, I entered a completely new world, put together a team. And by the way, I wasn't born an actor, so I also spent some time with an acting coach to not to become an actor, but to kind of be acceptable when I go into this show.
That's so exciting. I just love the whole concept. And for me, I think whenever you send messages through music and poetry and things like that, they're more memorable sometimes than a PowerPoint show,
Yes.
So I applaud what you're doing. That's awesome. Well, it's time now, if you all have enjoyed listening, and hopefully you took notes, but if you didn't, please, if you're just listening, get that paper and pencil or pen and be prepared. I'm going to give contact information for Gerardo. So the website is https:// Gerardo Segat, and that's GerardoSegat.com. And again, that's GerardoSegat.com. On LinkedIn, you can just search his name again, Gerardo Segat. And if you would, please explain what they'll find when they go to the website, because it is a wonderful website.
Yeah, on the website, information about myself, but also specific information about the coaching program Prelude, and about the performing arts show Out as Humans, and they find ways to book that, to get information about that. There are some information, video, clips, etc., etc.
So thank you very much, everyone, for all that you have given us today in terms of being able to listen to this wonderful contributor, I would say, to our society and to our new way of being a leader. As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.